The throne room of the Galactic Dominion fell silent as Queen Vexlara studied the holographic display before her. 300 star systems bowed to her rule. Yet the image floating in the crystalline projection showed something that defied her understanding. Her daughter, Princess Kella, standing beside a human male on the conquered world of Earth. "Explain this," the Queen demanded. Her 4 eyes narrowing in succession. Ambassador Thren shifted his weight, his scales clicking nervously. "Your Majesty, the princess has formed an alliance with one of the native defenders. He calls himself Commander James Riker, a human." The word dripped with disdain from the Queen's mandibles. "Those primitive creatures barely mastered faster-than-light travel before we arrived. What could possibly interest my daughter in such a backward species?" The ambassador hesitated. "Perhaps you should ask her yourself, Majesty. She returns within the hour." When Princess Kella entered the throne room, she walked with a confidence that surprised the assembled court. Gone was the uncertain royal who had departed 6 months prior to oversee the Earth occupation. In her place stood a warrior, her ceremonial armor marked with battle scars, her bearing that of someone who had seen true combat and emerged stronger. "Mother," Kella said, bowing with precise military courtesy rather than courtly flourish. "Daughter." Queen Vexlara descended from her throne, circling the princess slowly. "I have received disturbing reports. You have been seen with a human, repeatedly. The occupation forces whisper that you have abandoned your duties for the company of this primitive." Kala's expression remained calm. "I have exceeded every occupation quota you set. Earth's resources flow to the Dominion ahead of schedule. Crime has decreased by 40%. The Resistance has ceased all major operations. By consorting with the enemy? By understanding them." The Queen's voice rose. "Understanding? We do not understand our subjects. We conquer them. We rule them. We certainly do not befriend them." "Then perhaps that is why we face rebellion on 12 worlds," Kella replied quietly. The court gasped. No one spoke to the Queen this way. Queen Vexlara's claws extended, scraping against the marble floor. "You dare lecture me on governance?" "I dare tell you the truth. I have learned it from someone who knows the value of honesty, even when facing impossible odds. This human. His name is James Riker. He commanded Earth's defense forces during the invasion. He was the one who held the northern continent for 3 months against our superior numbers. He was the strategist who destroyed 40 of our warships with a fleet 1/10 our size." The Queen's multiple eyes widened. "The ghost of Terra? The tactician who cost us 15,000 soldiers? That is the creature you have allied yourself with?" "That is the man I married," Kella said simply. The throne room erupted in chaos. Courtiers shouted in outrage. Military advisors demanded immediate action. The Queen herself seemed frozen, as though the translation matrix had malfunctioned and delivered impossible words. "You married a human?" "Yes, without permission, without ceremony, without consideration for your position, your duty, or your people." Kella met her mother's gaze steadily. "I married him because he showed me what strength truly means. Not the strength to conquer, but the strength to endure, to sacrifice, to stand against impossible odds, not because victory was certain, but because surrender was unthinkable." "Romantic nonsense," the Queen hissed. "You are a princess of the Dominion. You do not marry aliens. You certainly do not marry defeated enemies. Is he defeated?" Kella gestured to the holographic display, which shifted to show images of Earth's reconstruction. "His people rebuild their cities alongside ours. His soldiers train our occupation forces in guerrilla tactics that we can use against the rebellion in the outer systems. His engineers have improved our shield technology by 18%. His victory was not in defeating us militarily. It was in teaching us that there are other ways to fight. Treason, someone muttered from the back of the court. Kella spun toward the voice. Is it treason to end a war without further bloodshed? Is it treason to find a path that benefits both conqueror and conquered? Earth could have fought for another year. James estimated that with their guerrilla tactics, they could have killed another 100,000 of our soldiers before final victory. Instead, he proposed an alternative. Surrender, the Queen said coldly. Partnership. We do not partner with inferiors. Then explain to me, Mother, how this inferior species held against us longer than any other world we have conquered. Explain how they destroyed more of our ships and killed more of our soldiers, despite having primitive technology. Explain how their tactics forced us to adapt our entire military doctrine. The Queen had no answer. Kalla pressed forward. I went to Earth expecting to find barbarians. I found warriors who fought for something beyond glory or territory. They fought for an idea, freedom, the right to determine their own destiny. James could have continued the war from hidden bases, leading us slowly. Instead, he chose to negotiate because he understood that his people's survival mattered more than his pride. How noble, the Queen said sarcastically. And what did you learn from this paragon of virtue? I learned that humanity defeated us long before we realized it. They defeated us by refusing to accept defeat as final. They defeated us by finding strength not in superior weapons, but in superior purpose. They defeated us by making us question why we fight in the first place. We fight because we are strong. Because the Dominion must expand. To what end? Kella asked. We control 300 systems, yet face rebellion in dozens. We have billions of subjects, yet trust none of them. We have the most powerful military in the galaxy, yet spend every year fighting to maintain what we have already taken. We are not building an empire, Mother. We are building a prison, and we are locking ourselves inside it. The Queen's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. You have been corrupted. I have been awakened by a human, by a man who showed me that there is more to strength than domination, who demonstrated that the greatest victory is not in crushing your enemy, but in transforming them into an ally. Impossible philosophy. The weak do not become strong through kindness. No, Kella agreed. But the strong can become wise through humility. James taught me that. On the day we met, he stood in the ruins of his command center, surrounded by the bodies of soldiers he had led. He had lost the battle. He knew the war was over. Yet he looked at me without fear or hatred. He looked at me with curiosity and asked a single question. Why? Why? The Queen repeated. Why did we invade? What did we hope to gain? What purpose drove us to conquer world after world, taking resources we barely needed from people who could not truly threaten us? He did not ask with anger. He asked because he genuinely wanted to understand. And I realized I had no answer. Kella walked to the center of the throne room, addressing not just her mother, but the entire court. I am a princess of the Dominion. I was raised to command fleets and crush resistance. I was taught that strength meant never showing weakness, never compromising, never questioning our right to rule. James showed me that true strength means acknowledging when you are wrong. It means changing course when the path ahead leads to ruin. It means choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. Beautiful words, the Queen said. They will not protect you when the court demands your execution for treason. Then execute me. But before you do, answer the question he asked me. Why? Why do we conquer? Why do we destroy? Why do we refuse to consider that there might be another way? The throne room remained silent. No one had an answer. Finally, Ambassador Thren spoke. If I may, Your Majesty, the princess's methods on Earth have achieved remarkable results. The human population has not only accepted our presence, but begun contributing to it. Their scientists work alongside ours. Their soldiers share intelligence. Their engineers improve our technology. No other conquered world has integrated so quickly or so completely. Because they are weak, someone argued. No, Kala said firmly. Because they are practical. They understand that survival requires adaptation. James understood that humanity could not win a military victory, so he pursued a cultural one. He made Earth so valuable to the Dominion that we could not afford to destroy it. He made himself so indispensable that I could not imagine governing without him. He won not by defeating us, but by becoming essential to us. Queen Vexlara studied her daughter for a long moment. And you love him? It was not a question, but Kella answered anyway. Yes. Why? Because he saw me as more than a conqueror. He saw someone capable of growth, of change, of becoming better than she was. He challenged me to question everything I believed. He showed me that strength and compassion are not opposites. He proved that the most dangerous warriors are those who fight not from anger, but from love. The queen returned to her throne, settling into it with visible weariness. You have given me much to consider, daughter. I cannot condone your marriage, but neither can I ignore the results it has produced. Earth will remain your responsibility. Govern it as you see fit. But understand this, if your experiment fails, if the humans betray us, the consequences will fall on you alone. I understand, Mother, and I accept those terms. As Kella turned to leave, the queen called out, Daughter, this human, this James, does he make you happy?